Hey folks, I'm glad you're here. My name is Chris, and this is the Sons of Sever YouTube channel where there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad gear. Today, my brother Eric and I are going to be covering a handful of Xero sandals, doing a little bit of a Xero sandal rundown. We've got 3 total. I'm going to be talking about one specifically, and that's going to be the H Trail. Eric's going to be covering the other 2 because they are Z-strap style sandals. And I don't really like Z-strap style sandals, so there is a first dislike for me right off of the bat. I did try these. I'm going to give my final opinions on them at the end of the video, but Eric's going to cover these and talk about what he likes about them. Me and Eric are huge fans of adventure style sandals. We think they're super fun, and they seem to be taking over the barefoot shoe space. Everyone seems to have an adventure style sandal, so we're going to do a bigger rundown later in the summer that covers a lot more sandals and compares them all to each other. But for this video, we're going to go back and forth like we always do, talking about what we like and don't like about these styles, and then give final opinions at the end. If you want to jump around to different parts of the video, there are timestamps down in the description. But for now, I'm going to pass things over to Eric to talk about what he likes about these Z-strap style sandals.
Alright, so I'm going to be covering 2 different ones here. I've got the Z Trek as well as the Z Trail. And one thing that I like about both of these sandals is the way that your foot stays secure in the footbed. So especially when I took the Z Trail out on a 7-mile run, I thought that my feet were going to be sliding around laterally here and really not staying in place. But because of this tab where the strap runs through right here, it actually did provide quite a bit of security, and my foot did not slide around at all on that footbed. It actually stayed really secure. Now the Z Trek actually has 2 of those tabs, so you have one on the outside of the foot and one on the inside of the foot, and so I do like how secure your feet are inside these Z-strap sandals. Even though there's nowhere for your toes to be secured down to the footbed, they still do a really good job with that. The next like that I have with the Z-strap style sandals from Xero Shoes is going to be their durability. So I've got to pull out my old pair of Xero sandals that I've had. This is a pair of Z Trails that I got back in 2017, and they were with me the entire time that I lived in Hawaii. This is pretty much what I lived in. I wore them a lot when I lived in Washington too. Then when I moved back to Utah, I've held on to them. The 5,000 mile sole guarantee on these things, I think, really held up, and I'm really impressed. Like, these are beat to crap. You can look at how much I've worn down the tread on them. This left one specifically, I almost have made it through this outsole and to the upper there, but they still have some life in them. And so I think that one thing that Xero does really good, and it's not a surprise because they started out as a sandal company, is the durability on their sandals. Now luckily they sent us out some new ones to try out. They've changed the traction pattern just a little bit here on the Z Trail. Outside of that, it's pretty much the same, and I expect my new ones to last just as long as these ones have. The last like for me when it comes to Xero sandals is the price point that they're coming in at, because for an adventure sandal, they are quite a bit lower than the rest of the market. So the Z Trail is coming in at $80, the Trek is $60, and they're actually all on sale if you're catching this video the weekend that it came out. So there's a 25% summer sale going on right now with Xero. So if you're interested in these, now is a really good time to go and pick them up. They're a great value regardless, but with 25% off, that's even better. So we do have an affiliate link to get to their website. It's in the description of the video. Use that link to get to their website, and that really helps the channel out.
Getting into my likes for the H Trail, the first thing that I want to mention is going to be the strap system. I'm a huge fan of this strap system. It's pretty adjustable overall. There's a dislike that I have of it, but I'll bring that up later. But when it comes to the strap system overall, very adjustable, and the biggest thing for me with it is going to be comfort. This strap system is really comfortable, so it's not hard to wear this thing for long periods of time. The next like that I have for the H Trail is going to be the footbed. It is very squishy and soft to the foot. Some companies make their sandals really, really hard overall with almost no squish. And while that is technically like better for your feet overall, better for your posture, better for your walking form, they get a little bit abrasive to the foot. And the footbed on the H Trail is actually really, really comfortable. I actually really like the performance of the traction pattern on the H Trail. That is not something that I bring up often for Xero styles. In general, especially their chevron style traction patterns don't typically work out super great, but for whatever reason, this one seems to work really well. I think this is a different rubber than they typically use on other shoes, like their Scrambler Low that we tried earlier in the summer. The rubber seems a little bit softer and grippier overall, so I like the way that this traction pattern performs. The last like that I have for the H Trail is going to be the stack height balance that this thing comes with. So it's 9.5 millimeters overall. We've had some others that are 10.5. We've got one in this specific group that is 6. And I found that 9.5 is a really nice medium for this kind of sandal, where it's going to give you plenty of protection when it comes to hiking and trail running, but it's also minimal enough that it doesn't look chonky and out of place if you're just wearing it on the beach or around town. So I'm a huge fan of the stack height that they ended up going with on the H Trail. With our likes of these sandals out of the way, it's time for us to get into our dislikes, but first we want to mention that this video is sponsored by Creepers Toe Socks. We've tried 20 plus brands of toe socks at this point, and Creepers is still our favorite. In our opinion, they have the best mix of durability and comfort compared to any other sock out there. You might find a softer, more comfortable sock, but it's not going to last as long. You might find a more durable sock, but it's not going to be as comfortable. Not only that, but the merino wool blend that they use is fantastic at wicking away moisture and regulating temperature. So it's kind of a do-it-all sock. And Sean is constantly coming out with fun colors. If you're interested in checking out Creepers Toe Socks, there's a link down in the description that'll take you over to the website. It'll also auto-apply a 10% off discount code to your cart at checkout. Thank you to Creepers Socks for sponsoring this video. We also wanted to mention that we do have an affiliate link with Xero Shoes. We do think Xero Shoes does a good job at what they do, and we're excited for what the future holds for Xero Shoes overall. If you're interested in checking out Xero Shoes, make sure to use the link down in the description to get over to their website. It really helps our channel out in the long run.
All right, when it comes to dislikes for the Z-strap style sandals from Xero Shoes, the first one that I'm going to say is that the sizing was inconsistent, and I think that is an issue with Xero overall. But the Z-Trek is too long for me, and I definitely start to trip over the toe just a little bit. It comes in about a centimeter or two longer than the Z Trails do. So when I lay one on top of the other, I've got the trail on top of the Trek. You can see that extra bit on the Trek right there. So with that sizing, with this one specifically, I had to tighten the heel quite a bit in order to get my toes in a spot that felt just right. And now I've got this big, extra bit on the heel strap right there. Plus my heel does not come into the heel cup pretty much at all. It has to sit pretty far forward. And so the sizing on this one, we would think that maybe you want to go a whole size down if you're considering the Z Trek.
Getting into my dislikes when it comes to the H Trail, the first thing that I'm going to bring up is going to be the shape of this sandal overall. In my opinion, the footbed of these Xero sandals, all three of them, are not very foot shaped. They're not very wide up in the toe box, and that did result in my big toe finding the inner edge of the right sandal while I was running in them. So I did experience a little bit of shift, and in another sandal that has a little bit more toe box, there's some forgiveness there. Not so much with the H Trail. The next thing that I'm going to bring up that I don't like about this is actually going to go back to the strap system, and in my opinion they just need to work on the adjustment system of this, because I have way too much strap here. I have them set up at the tightness that I like to have these for running and trail running, and I just have way too much strap dangling at the heel specifically. With that said, I also feel like the front strap, one of the front straps, the Velcro front strap, has too little adjustment ability, and that's also hanging off quite a bit. So I wish that they would just do a little better job with the adjustment system of this specific sandal.
All right, so when it comes to my final opinion of the 3 sandals that we got from Xero Shoes, would I recommend these for other people? And I definitely would. I think one of the better things that Xero does is their sandals. They come in at a really good price point. I think they're really durable. And for a Z-strap sandal, at least the one that's my favorite, I think that your foot stays pretty secure in the footbed as well. I really like that about the Z Trek and the Z Trail. My favorite one out of the 3 that they sent us is definitely the Z Trail. I like the stack height that it has. I think the traction pattern does a really good job. And like I mentioned, your foot stays really secure in the footbed. It's a great casual sandal as well as a trail sandal if you're used to such a minimal stack height. In my opinion, if you were going to go for one, then I would go for this one. I don't like the thong straps of the H Trail. I find that always uncomfortable. This strap that goes in between your toe, and that's common among all of the sandals that we've gotten. It's just not my favorite style, which is a big reason why I gravitate towards the Z Trail. But again, we've got a link in the description of the video if you want to go and check out any of these sandals. They do have a few other models. They weren't able to send us out their new one, the D Trail, which has a strap that comes across the toes right here, and then another one that comes across your ankle, and then it's got the heel strap on it. So it's a bit of a different design, but the outsole, the stack height, they all looked pretty much the same. If you like that style, then it's definitely one to go and check out. I don't think it's going to perform any worse than the ones that we've gotten on our feet.
Getting into my final opinion on these Xero sandals, especially the H Trail, would I recommend these to somebody who's looking into barefoot adventure sandals? For the H Trail, I'd say yeah. If your foot shape is a little bit more shaped like this footbed that Xero made these on, then go for it. I think they're going to be comfortable, they're going to be relatively rugged, and they're going to do a pretty good job out on the trails for you. But when it comes to the other two styles, I would say no. This is going to depend on your feet a little bit. This depends on my feet. The fact that I didn't actually wear these all that much. I wanted to, but two issues that I had with them. One, these are all size 11s. I got all size 11s. The H Trail fit me fine. Neither of these fit me very well. The heel cup was a problem for me that they have at the back here because my heel didn't actually engage it at all. My foot was too far forward in the sandals once I got them adjusted for me. The other issue that I had with these is on both of them, my pinky toe ends up underneath the edge of this strap. I wish that they would move that back a little bit so that I could free my pinky toe, because I don't like the feeling of my pinky toe being pressed down by that strap overall. And then the last thing I got to bring up with these Z-Trek is I actually trimmed these. I'll roll in some B-roll footage of me cutting the tops of these off because compared to the other two sandals, they were way too long and I was tripping on myself while wearing these. So all that to say, I personally would not recommend the Z-strap styles to anybody, but I did really enjoy the H Trail. So take all that information with a grain of salt, but that is my final opinion here.
Folks, if you like this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. All those things really help the channel out. If you're interested in any of the products that we talked about in this video, there will be links to them down in the description. If we have discount codes for any of those companies, they will be featured with the links. If you want to get more content from us, there are 3 different places you can get it. The first one is Patreon, where for $1 a month, you can get exclusive behind-the-scenes content we don't post anywhere else. If you want to be most up to date with what we are working on, make sure to follow us on Instagram, where we are constantly posting unboxing videos. Go follow us on Strava if you're interested in seeing mini reviews in real time of the products we're using and what we're using them for. Strava allows you to track and post about your different activities. We track and post about our runs, trail runs, hikes, paddleboarding, and weightlifting, and we do little mini reviews on the products we're using during those activities. Go follow us there, and we will follow you back. We appreciate your view, and as always, we will catch you in the mountains.